afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young. We are at November 10th right now. The weather's not too bad out. I have another great Zoom show tonight from Connecticut. The gentleman is a psychic. You can see from his eyes that he can see intuitively pierce a lot of things, and that's what they do. And we'll talk all about that. We're going to have a great interview with him. But before we do that, we got to read these awesome underwriters, and then we will commence per usual. So I want to thank Auto Country, king of the used car in Abington, #1 in the dealer ratings for Massachusetts in 2021. Been with me since the beginning. Great customer service. We got them. We got Lynch's Towing, Auto, Cycle, and Truck Center in Brockton. One number for towing, one number for projects. Always looking for scrap metal, wheels, anything to do with transportation. My pal Lynchy in Brockton can handle over there. We got Fairdiologist 101 Barbershop in Brockton. We got John's Greenhouses and Florist Shop in Brockton. We got Auto Town Auto Glass and Auto Body in Abington. We got One Good Credit in Brockton. We got Uplifted Nutrition in Taunton. Good Countertops Express in North Attleboro. Experts in installing and removing quartz and granite. We got the Gun Runner LLC in Middleborough, your Second Amendment Freedom Store. We got the law offices of Cahal Lane and Stefani, PC in Brockton, specialists in workman's comp and personal injury law. We got RW Carpet and Flooring in Norton, covering floors for 50 years. We got Easton Fitness and the Village Shops in Northeastern. We got Doggy Boutique, all breed professional grooming for dogs and cats, run by my great next door neighbor, Debbie Siddall in Brockton. We got Grant's Rental in Bridgewater, and we got Joe's Diner in Taunton. And I want to thank you guys very much. And now officially, I will introduce Mr. Nicholas Robert Grossmann right here.
Hello.
He's home in Connecticut. He's a psychic. He's going to be part of an event in Salem, Mass. called the Paracon event on Saturday. We're going to talk all about that. So Nick, thanks for doing my show today. You were recommended
Anytime.
highly by Mr. Charles Rosnay. He was another great Zoom guest from the state of Connecticut, the lovely
Cool.
state of Connecticut.
Well, thank you, Harrison. It's been, a long journey being a paranormal investigator and a psychic, especially when Charles and I, linked up, and it's been quite an adventure, really. I always say, I mean, we've been doing ghost tours all throughout Connecticut, and now we're gonna start coming into Massachusetts and do some ghost tours there at Well that are going to be planned. As a matter of fact, with the paranormal convention on Saturday, we're definitely going to share, our plan that we have for a future ghost tour in the area.
Okay, now that's in
Gonna be cool.
Salem, but I have a question. Are you familiar with the town of East Bridgewater, Mass?
Yes, I love it there.
Okay.
There's lots of energy. There's lots of phenomenon that goes there. As a matter of fact, I had an experience at Freetown State Forest there. Me and my
Well, actually,
former
Freetown State Forest isn't in East Bridgewater, it's in Freetown.
Yeah. And, when me and my partner were there, from my old partner for my team,
Okay,
there's these creatures there called puckwudgies.
okay.
And,
What are they? I mean, we're talking, be a little, what are they, based on the sound of the description, they sound kind of like odd shaped creatures that you might see in lily pads, but you tell me what they are, what they look like.
yeah, well, we were there on this cliff called the Ledge, and all of a sudden, all these rocks started getting thrown out of nowheres, and I couldn't pinpoint who was throwing them. So, we left and we went back to the hotel, and I laid in my bed. And as I closed my eyes, I hear this horn noise.
Wow.
And I open my eyes, and there's actually one of these creatures, probably about like 3.5 feet high, blowing a horn made out of a root.
Eee.
And then it smiled and disappeared. I'll never forget it. And
So it's kind of like a goblin thing, a goblin like
And-
person, individual creature,
yeah,
right?
and those things are real. And that area of Massachusetts is loaded with activity. It really is. There's something about it.
Yeah, the reason I
Bridgewater
asked is
Triangle.
because I had a guy in my show. I know some people that run an antique store there, a woman that runs, and she does ghost tours, and I know that the town hall has had, and the library also has had sightings of ghosts in the middle of the night. Strange things have happened. A lot of things have moved it where they ordinarily wouldn't, like the elevators going up and down with nobody being there.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, so that's good. I'm glad you're in sync with all the ghost
The culture,
tours
yeah.
going on up here, all the happenings. But those goblins you just described, I wouldn't want to encounter them. I mean,
Yeah.
well, tell me, what do you think they are? Are they just are they
They're like Native
cool?
American culture, way back in ancient times.
Okay,
They summoned like creatures to protect, like the land is very sacred.
okay.
And they're not really evil creatures, believe it or not.
They're probably
But
not, but I mean, if I
yeah,
encountered them, I'd freak.
yeah,
If I was lying in bed and I saw a bunch of those suckers coming at me, I'd be like, whoa! Yeah,
yeah,
I'd jump to the,
yeah.
I would crash through the window to get out of there.
We also did the Old Grist Mill Tavern in Massachusetts, and got an apparition there like I've never got on
Okay,
camera
what
before. It
town
was
is
really
that
good.
in? What
It's
town is
in
that in?
Essex County.
Essex, got it.
Yes, I'm not
North of
sure the
Boston?
exact town,
Okay,
but
it's north of Boston, obviously, I guess, in that
yep.
area. Okay. So what, tell me about the apparition you had there.
Yeah, well, there's actually this haunted table there, and during the of the night, I didn't see it with my own eyes this time. When I was reviewing footage, um, I saw it in the background, and that's another place with heavy activity. Connecticut and Massachusetts and Rhode Island are known to have some of the most activity in the United States.
Wow. So Rhode
Yep,
Island too. So basically the Connecticut,
absolutely,
Mass, yeah, and Rhode Island, those three New England states have a lot of ghost activity. Interesting.
absolutely, 100%.
Wow.
Yep.
That's incredible. Now, all right, ordinarily, when I profile a guest, what I usually do is I ask them to talk about their childhood and how they got into what what they're doing now. And we'll do
Mhm.
that too. But what I want to know is, have you ever had any like real interesting conversations with any paranormal spirits or anything like that that are worth
Well,
mentioning?
yeah, I've helped a lot of spirits cross over.
Okay.
I
Well, wait
I
a
do
minute. Cross over. If they're already dead, how they already crossed over?
because a lot of them are still stuck here on the physical, like on Earth here.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and they just need help crossing over because a lot of times when somebody dies in a shocking way,
Yeah.
they miss the light, and the light doesn't come, until quite some time after if they miss it. And that's what we're doing. This event this weekend is about all the paranormal, all the supernatural that goes on in this area. And
Fascinating.
we felt
Fascinating.
Salem was like a great place for it. And Salem is the next destination to a great convention. We had one in Connecticut, and we just felt Salem was next. And it's going to be at Salem State University.
Okay.
It's going to be really good. There's going to be a lot of talk about the afterlife too.
Well, that's what I was getting at too. I mean,
Absolutely, lectures.
well, I mean, see, here's the thing. I mean, what I'm hearing, I hear contradicting accounts of what the afterlife is like. Obviously, the most prominent biblical one is heaven and hell. But obviously, from what you're saying, there's more to it than that. Is that true?
Oh yeah. Well,
Okay.
there's lots of dimensions that we're not aware of. There's interdimensions, and there's all sorts of spirits, not just human, not just dark spirits. There's all different types of spirits.
Animal spirits too.
Absolutely, 100%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting thing about them is they won't cross over until the day you die. They stay with you, those ones. So
Huh.
like your
Well, I had
pets
two
are
cats,
always
and I
around you.
and I and I do think about them all the time. I hope they're at peace at least.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
Interesting. All right. Well, all right. Now, what I'm going to do, like I said, I want to find out about you as a younger guy. How did you end up
sure.
getting into this? This is pretty deep stuff. So tell
I
me about.
had some, when I was younger, all sorts of phenomena would go on, especially when the lights were out after 9 p.m.
Okay.
and stuff would go flying off the shelf. The
Are you
radio
talking
would
about at your home, what you were living in as
My
a kid?
home, yeah.
Wow.
And stuff would go flying off the shelf. The radio would turn on and off by itself.
Huh.
The thermostat would turn all the way to 85 degrees on its own.
Okay.
I seen thousands of demons actually come out of the mirror one time.
Wow.
It was actually very traumatizing. And, from the
Yes.
age,
So.
yeah, from the age of 12 to the age of 22, it sounds kind of silly, but I slept with the covers over my head because it was so terrifying what I was going through.
Wow.
And then
I did that as a baby because I was having these apparitions too. But it sounds to me like, all right, where do demons come from?
well, there's a bunch of dark realms. There's thousands, over hundreds of thousands of dark interdimensions. Call it hell, call it what you want.
Okay.
And there's a yin and yang. There's a I Ching book, just because there's
You
good
mean,
spirits,
is it
but
I Ching or I Ching?
I Ching,
I Ching, that's what I thought.
yes, and there's good spirits. It goes on a scale of good to bad.
Okay,
So we're here living on Earth here, and if there was no negativity on the scale, there would be no point for us being existing, because we
okay.
need good and bad in order to exist here on this planet. And the bad makes a challenge for us, and this is a rite of passage. Why we're here is actually a rite of passage to get into the next interdimension.
Okay. All right. So let's say, but what about people? All right. What about people that sin in this life? How do you get, can you help them get to the nicer place afterwards anyway?
You know what?
Listen, I know I'm throwing, that's really
No, it's okay.
that's throwing a lot of dogma around, but you tell me, I'm just
No,
wondering
no, I
what
get
you can
questions
do.
like this all the time, and I always say there's no disturbing or weird question. And honestly, in my experience and what I've experienced and seen,
Yeah.
that the only ones that go to that dark place are really, really, really evil people.
Okay.
Um, and as a matter of fact, actually, I was just talking to Charles about this the other day, is
Yep.
that when we cross over,
Yeah.
you know, the world we're going into is going to be 3 times as easier, 3 times as happier, and as it is down here.
Okay.
And that's the
Unless we go to the other
afterlife, and
place.
that's the fourth dimension. And then after that world, we pass on to the fifth dimension, and that's the last dimension. And
Huh.
that in my research is the heaven. But
Right.
when we crossed over, our relatives are there waiting for us.
Hmm.
They pick you up when you go out of your body and bring you in. And honestly, it's quite shocking. For the first moments of it is actually quite shocking. It's very similar to when a baby's born.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
To another world.
according to my research. Yep.
Okay. Well, it's funny you should mention Salem because I had an experience up there once too. I was up there with my cousin and her husband back on Halloween of 2009. And you know how they have the parade?
Yeah.
Okay. So we were walking, walking down the road in the parade and someone tapped me on the shoulder and it was sort of a fairly attractive young woman. And she said, "Hi, can I help you?" And
Yep.
I said, "Maybe." And of course, you know what I was thinking. And she said, "Well, your God isn't very happy with you. You've been sinning or whatever." And
Oh,
then
good
she
God.
was with 2 other people, and they said, God has ways of meting out justice." And these are perfect strangers talking to me, telling me that what they're telling me, and I'm like, wow.
Yes.
It freaked me
Mhm.
out that but I've heard other people tell me the same thing. Now, I
Right.
don't consider myself really evil. I consider I have urges and they have to be met, and I meet them when I have to meet them. All right, and they're not,
Right.
they don't hurt anybody.
Yes.
Okay. That's
Yep.
kind of what I'm thinking. That may be what they were implying, maybe not. But other than that, but just to hear something like that, so God has ways of meting out justice. My goodness. That makes
Yeah.
me sound really evil, and I don't think I'm really evil. But who am I to judge me?
Everybody has their own opinion on stuff. My opinion is a bit more eccentric than that opinion.
Okay, what's
And
your opinion?
everybody has their opinion on it. I personally believe in something more accepting and all that
Okay,
stuff. But in this country, we have the right to believe in what we'd like, and that's what's so nice about our country here.
oh, I
Whether
agree.
somebody's telling us we're gonna go to hell for every little thing or not. But personally, what I believe, I don't, I in my experience, I don't believe that's so.
Okay,
I
I
think
hope you're
the,
right.
the most evil people go down there, and honestly, I think it's actually temporary. It's not for an eternity.
Huh?
As a matter of fact, there's a book in the Vatican that talks about how Jesus said that hell is actually a temporary thing.
No kidding.
And
I-
yes, there
Cool.
is actually a book that they took out of that. But then again, like I said, freedom of religion, everybody could believe they want to believe that, that's fine.
Well, here's the thing. As far as wanting
I
to
don't really
believe,
get into the whole religion
no, I know.
aspect of
Well, here's the thing. People, when you say, and I can't believe it blows my mind that people say you believe what you want to believe. See, here's the thing. I don't think you can believe what you want to believe. I think you can only believe what you think can only be true. I don't believe what I want to believe. I believe what I think might be true based on what I've been
Right.
told. And
I got you.
I wish I didn't have to believe it. I wish I could believe something else.
Yeah,
You know
as
what
a
I'm
matter of
saying?
fact,
So
we
freedom
have
of,
this
I mean,
very,
feel free to express your beliefs in our
we have,
country, this country, but as far as what you actually believe, that's not, there really is no freedom to that. It's just, you have to tell yourself, I know this is something I want to believe, and so I do, but it's not easy to do that because oftentimes
right.
what you believe is something you don't want to believe. Most of the time that is the case, at least for me. That's
Yeah,
my
I hear you.
experience of it.
Yeah. Well, we have this great special guest actually. His name is Sean Austin. He's from 28 Days Haunted
Okay,
Netflix, and has a lot of knowledge on the subject that we're talking to, and he's going to be there Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be really cool.
cool. I wouldn't mind
Um,
having him on on this show
oh
too.
yeah, you should absolutely by
Okay,
far.
all
He's
right.
great.
Okay. Well, from what you're telling me, I mean, you went through some pretty traumatic stuff, and yet somehow
Absolutely.
you seem to have met the challenge and have conquered it in your own way, and in a very, and have turned it into an amazing livelihood for yourself, which is great.
Right. Yeah. It's been a hell of a journey.
No pun intended.
We've done Dudleytown. We've done all sorts of haunted cemeteries. And now we're getting our way in Massachusetts over here,
Right. Okay. Are you planning to ascend
especially
other parts of the country as well?
Hoosac Tunnel in Massachusetts. That's pretty haunted. That was built in the 18th century, and it's a 5-mile long tunnel, train
Okay.
tunnel. And when they were building it, there was actually a collapse. So the corpses are still inside the wall. They couldn't pull everybody out,
Wow.
and it's very haunted. And I actually, with my pals, Two Brothers Extreme Paranormal, we went venturing in there one time, and all sorts of stuff was going down. Very
Okay.
dark.
Do what towns those that
I
bridge?
think it's North Adams.
Oh, not that, I'm sure. So
I think
you're
it
way out near
is.
the New York State line.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Yep.
right. That's okay. Interesting. Are you
There's
planning
stuff
on,
there.
are you planning on matriculating out to different parts of the country after you do?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Especially New England, I'm concentrating on the most, but yes, absolutely.
Wow.
I've been around all over the East Coast, stuff like that. So
Okay. Now being a psychic, do you also do readings for people as well?
I sometimes get into that. I know how to read out of a crystal ball. I prefer a big mirror though. And Charleston and I actually had this event, on a haunted trolley where we set up a mirror, and I opened up a portal through the mirror, and people were seeing all sorts of spirits come out of there. Not everybody saw it, but the majority did. And
Huh.
it was pretty wild. It's called scrying, actually.
Okay.
It's one of our events that we specialize in. We had one at Fright Haven. Charles produced and created the largest indoor haunted attraction in Connecticut, and we actually had a very successful event upstairs when it came to the scrying. People were seeing all their relatives come out of the mirror and everything else.
Wow.
Yep.
That's amazing. And they were talking to them too, or just seeing them?
Absolutely, talking and well, mostly seeing.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I guess it was different for everybody.
Yep.
Huh.
Absolutely.
Wow. All right.
Interesting stuff when somebody shares knowledge on the other side.
Yeah.
Somebody's experienced it, and it's definitely probably interesting to hear from the other end.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me ask you this. What if, hypothetically, now you say that people's relatives reach out and take you in when you die? What if they didn't like you? I'm not saying they don't like me, but let's just say somebody is a total.
When you go
backseat
up
to
there, when you go there, you change.
Oh, really?
Like all the negativity
They
is
forgive you,
left.
right, for everything?
All the negativity is left down here on Earth.
Oh, cool.
Even like when you had hard feelings of like people and everything else.
Okay, that's
All
good.
of it's left here on Earth. Like I said, when you evolve into that next afterlife, you're going to change, evolve with it.
Wow.
And it's just an easier world than what we have to deal with here.
Well, I got to tell you, if you're right, I'm totally thrilled, and I'm at peace now, at least for a while, at least for today.
Yes.
Now, I
Yeah.
don't know how that's going to play out without, people are still telling me, repent and all this stuff. Some girl on Facebook was telling me that like 2 weeks ago. It was unbelievable.
Yep.
I mean, you think the way people talk to me, you think I might as well be the evilest guy around, but doing what I do, I'm trying to spread joy here. So maybe this is doing my show is kind of a repentance in its own right.
I hear
You
you.
know, help, you
Yep.
know, I'm trying to help people feel better about life. It's like, like people like you who seem to have a way of doing that, given what you've been through.
Right.
Well, when you were growing up and you were seen these demons, what were your parents saying about this? I mean,
They thought I was nuts.
okay, so
They
I
sent
guess
me
they
to
didn't see them then.
the natural reaction is to send them to a psychiatrist or
Right,
psychologist. And, eventually the digital camera came out
yep.
and I started taking pictures of these things and showing it to my doctor or my therapist at the time. And they didn't know what to think. Their mouth actually dropped.
Wow, so you actually were able to get pictures of these
Yep.
demons. See, I thought
100%.
I thought you couldn't photograph them. I thought they were like from another dimension, so you can only photo because
Somehow the digital camera, the Android and the iPhone has this unique ability to photograph stuff like that. It has some type of glitch.
Huh, interesting.
Mhm.
Okay.
I've got a lot of photos and videos of stuff.
Well, did your parents see them too when you took pictures?
Oh yeah. Yep.
What
They
did
were
they say then? Did
surprised.
they say, "Oh, now we believe you"?
Yeah, they're just completely taken back and confused.
Man,
You know.
oh,
Mhm.
I mean, you got a regular poltergeist thing going over there.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
All right. Well, tell me about, aside from the Paracon convention in Salem this Saturday, what other things are you involved in? What other events?
Well, we have some future events coming up right now. We actually have one in the works that we're going to be promoting at the Salem Paranormal and Horror Convention in New Hampshire, but we're going to come out and say what it is at the convention.
Was that going to be Salem, New Hampshire?
It's going to be on the shore in New Hampshire.
All right, so not Salem. I mean, it's Salem, Mass, but
Hamilton, I
event will be in
believe the
Hampshire.
town is.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's about an hour from Salem, and we're excited to do it. And it's going to be a few weeks after the convention, but I can't really say where it is or
Okay.
what it is quite yet. And then after that, Charles and myself are going to be promoting other events and setting up other events around the area. So
Okay. Now I had Charles on the
a
show.
lot of exciting stuff.
I'm sure it is. I had Charles on the show a few months ago. I didn't get that he was a ghost hunter too. I don't
Yep.
think we discussed that, but I guess that's what he does part-time with you, I suppose, right?
Yeah. Well, he's been doing it for a while. As a matter of fact, he has these tours where he takes people up to Transylvania, to Dracula's castle. So he's
Okay.
been doing it for quite a while. And at the past 4 years, me and him like linked up and we started doing it around all over New England, which is very haunted around here. Really
yeah.
is.
So I hear. Now,
Mhm.
how many people do you have on? Is it just you and Charles, or do you have other people involved on
Let's see
staff
here.
as well?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 people on
8
board.
people.
Yep.
Okay.
All psychic, just about. There's a few that aren't.
Right. Wow. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So aside from just being able to see spirits, can you? I know you don't do too many readings, but can you
Yeah.
read people's thoughts and stuff like that too?
You know what? I'm sure it's possible, but it's just
Yeah.
not something that I got into, the ESP, but I'm sure it's possible.
Oh, I know it's possible because, well, my sister-in-law was a Reiki master. Now she's an online psychic. She does she had a show here at the TV station. I think she's going to be bringing a podcast here too eventually.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Oh yeah. She's pretty good.
Plenty of psychics at the Salem Paranormal Convention this weekend too. There's going
Wow.
to be a whole big handful of them.
So tell me, how do you know when you're a psychic? How do you say one day, when do you wake up and say on one morning and say, I'm a psychic? How do you figure that out?
We're eventually, a bit more eccentric than most people. And, I think when I was 12 or 13, that's when I started really realizing that I was born with these abilities. It was just very natural for me to realize this stuff actually.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, because
Yeah. And then I started helping people with it.
yeah, huh. Okay.
Yep.
So it's sort of like you just kind of inbred, instinctual. It came
Yep.
right. It
You
went
got it.
one day. And you were
Mhm.
and you were already helping people when you were 12 and 13?
Not when I was 12 or 13. It's more started in my 20s.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, all right. So what is the name of your, like, is it Ghost Tours or something? Do you have a name? for
Ghost Storm Investigations.
Ghost Storm Investigations?
You
Okay.
got it.
It pretty much,
Yep.
it sounds like it covers the gamut of everything that, you
Yep.
know, it's
Mhm.
paranormal. Well,
Mhm.
well, guess what, Nick? We're down to the final 5 minutes of the show. I hope you had a good time, and I hope we covered.
Had a great time. You're the man.
Thank you. I'd argue if I could. I wish more people got that. More women got that, if you know what I'm
I
saying.
dig it. Topic
Okay,
time,
good.
baby.
Going back to that other stuff that we were talking about. All right, so what I want you to do in the final 5 minutes, if you would, is just give shouts out to people that are going to see the show, condense them, and then we'll wrap the show up with my music like we discussed earlier.
Sure. Sean Austin, Jimmy Petanito. We have Ronnie LeBlanc from Bigfoot Expedition Bigfoot, as well as always shout out to my brother Charles Rosenet, my fiance Amy Clifford, and my team Ghost Storm Investigations, which is Jeff and Diane from Connecticut Past, Anthony DePietro, Hector, my trusty camera guy, my right hand dude, Hector, and you know, just everybody in the paranormal community that gives us so much love and support. We really appreciate it. And, you know, that's the reason why we throw these conventions together, because, you know, life is about having fun, and, you know, we want to make people forget for a while and have a good time.
Exactly.
I think that's the mission Charles and myself have, is, you know, making people forget and able to come to our events and just forget and have, you know, a spectacular time. And that's what life should be about. And, you know,
Absolutely. Are you and Charles Are you and Charles brothers?
well, I mean,
I'm not biological brothers.
technically, yeah, because we're
Oh,
so close, but, you know, we're
okay.
not related.
I understand. Okay.
We do look similar though, which is the weirdest,
Well,
weirdest thing.
yeah,
It
you do
is
look
weird.
similar. Well, usually
Yeah, it is. It's
usually
weird.
people that are good, that are tight and hang around together tend to look alike. I mean, even
Yes.
married people do. Not that
Yes.
you know what I'm saying. That's sort of a given. That's sort of a fun. That's a psychic phenomenon in and of itself.
Yes.
It's a show for another
They
day.
call it doppelgangers.
Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah. All right. Well, if you had a good time with me, I'd love to interview any of the people that you just mentioned. Now the last thing I'm going to ask, when we finish up, we're going to finish up in a minute. Would you mind sticking around and doing a couple of pictures for Facebook? My tech guy will come.
Sure, man.
You did a great job plugging it, and I see we
Thank you,
got quite
brother.
a few likes, and I expect we're going to get quite a few views for the show when it's up online, which should
Thank
be
you,
next
brother.
week.
Sounds
All
like
right,
a
Nick, you
plan.
did a great job with me.
Thank you, brother, man. You as well.
Thanks.
I'll come on again
Yeah.
some other time too.
Right. All right, so we're going to wrap the show up. So you ready to do it the way we began it with
Sure.
You can bob your head like you were doing it at the beginning?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, folks. Thanks for watching Topic Time. See you next time. Take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye. There you go.